So today we are going to solve equations. And one of the big terms we need to remember when we're solving equations is inverse operations. These are two operations that undo each other. So our inverse operations we'll be mostly dealing with are addition is the inverse of subtraction, and we have multiplication is the inverse of division. And vice versa, subtraction undoes addition, and division undoes multiplication. So while we keep that in mind, we're going to try to solve some of these equations. So for our first equation, we're going to start with x plus 9 equals 20. To solve this, we need to look back at our inverse operations. We have addition, so we want to use subtraction. So we are going to try to isolate that x variable. We want to get x by itself. To be able to do that, we need to subtract 9. So that way the plus 9 and the negative 9 cancel. But if we do something to one side of the equation, we also have to do it to the other side. So we're going to have 20 minus 9 is going to be 11. So for our first equation, our solution, our answer is x equals 11. Our next equation is very similar to that. We have x minus 5 is equal to negative 13. We are trying to do the same thing, trying to accomplish the same goal. We want to get x by itself. To do that, we need to get that negative 5 on that equation, the side of the equation with the x, to the other side. To get it to the other side, we need to cancel it out. So we use our inverse operation. We're going to add 5. So the negative 5 and plus 5 cancel. If we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other. So negative 13 plus 5 is going to be negative 8. And that would be our solution for that problem. Now we're going to try to solve not a more complicated problem, but one that has just an additional step. We need to simplify the left side of this, or sorry, the right side of this problem. So we're going to have negative 8 is equal to n minus negative 4. When you see that minus a negative, you can simplify it to just n plus 4. When you subtract a negative, that's the same as addition. So we're just going to rewrite this equation by simplifying the minus and negative to a plus. And now it will be a lot easier. We can see that the inverse of addition will be to subtract 4 from both sides, because our goal is still to get that variable by itself. So plus 4 minus 4 will cancel, so we're left with just n on the right side, and negative 8 minus 4 is going to be a negative 12. So our solution would be n is equal to negative 12, and that would be it. Or we could read it that way with negative 12 is equal to n, but usually we try to read from the variable. Now we're going to try to solve some equations that have multiplication and division as their inverses. Those initial problems we did were all the inverse of addition and subtraction, but now we're going to look at this equation, negative 4x is equal to 1. The variable we're trying to isolate here is still x, but we don't have any operation written out between negative 4 and x. So whenever you are unsure, just think multiplication between them. If you ever have a number next to a variable, that will be multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is going to be division. So we want to divide both sides by negative 4 to cancel out. And once we have that, the negative 4 and negative 4 here will cancel. So we're left with just x on this side and is equal to negative 1 over 4, because we have 1 divided by 4. Oh, sorry, 1 divided by negative 4 is going to be a positive divided by a negative, so our whole number is going to be negative, and we can't simplify 1 divided by 4. If you did this on the calculator, you may have got negative 0.25. Right below here, we're going to try to do a problem where we start with division. We have x over 5 is equal to negative 30. And the inverse of division is going to be multiplication. So like we did up here, we had the multiplication. We had to use division to isolate the variable. On this problem, we have division, so we're going to multiply both sides by 5 to get that x by itself. So we'll have x equals, we have a negative times a positive is going to be a negative, and 30 times 5 is 150. So our solution here would be x is equal to negative 150.